Hello everyone, Meisterang here, and I figured I'm going to play a bunch of runs of Shotgun King at rank 15 with the Victoria and see how frequently I win. This run is already looking great. Sawed-Off Justice is great on the Victoria. The downside of losing range is fine if I have enhanced range with the Victoria. And the recoil can be a downside if you're trying to shoot at enemies at like a medium distance. But since I have to reload after every shot anyway, I can just shoot and then move forward back into position, shoot again, and so on. And it's nice that I also got backups, which is one of the least impactful white cards in the game. Anyway, Ravenous Rats plus healing and bishops is kind of annoying in terms of the animation time, and the fact that the rats are great for chip damage, and the healing bishops can heal all that up. So, kind of an inconvenient pick, but it's still powerful. And now I have Taunting Hop and Sacred Crown. Yeah, we can pretty much call this run a wrap, I think. On to run number 2. Ruins is a very dangerous card to pick early, but if you have a big firepower boost, like I think if you have Egotic Maelstrom, obviously, or if you have something like Blunderbuss or Cornered Despot, you can punch through all of that pawn health. But normally I wouldn't recommend taking it, but here it's pretty good. So yeah, and even with this all this firepower, we're barely able to cull enough pawns to not get overwhelmed by the promoted reinforcements. Okay, yeah, Royal Loafers is great, and luckily I already have enough damage that I can deal with Theocracy. It's a very dangerous card otherwise, but you know, I have a lot of damage, I have Royal Loafers, should be fine. And if I'm lucky enough, I'll get even more powerful stuff, and then Red Book. So yeah, as you can see, clearing this level out isn't too difficult. Homecoming is always a difficulty spike, but between what I already had and the Unfaithful Steed that I just picked up, I'm more than ready for it. With all this mobility, I'm pretty much untouchable, and all I have to do is just not kill the knights first. It can be kind of annoying to do that, because the knights are very aggressive, but I have Royal Loafers, so I'm not concerned about anything. Hey look, it's Golden Aging. I'll take that. That's gonna make bishops and queens a lot less threatening, and they're pretty much the only threats in this game, especially since I managed to remove the only rook in the enemy army and not adding the other ones. And yeah, look, we found Red Book. Alright, I'm down to go for a secret ending. This deck is so powerful that I think it's gonna be pretty easy. But yeah, let's see how it goes. Tough choice between Red Book and Undead Armies. Not really, because Undead Armies is very dangerous. Anyway, in the meantime, I picked up Night Bane, just so I can guaranteed attack the Red Book. I picked up a lot of good stuff. I have Unfaithful Steed plus Undercover Mission, that's a combo. And King's Mistress is strong. Yeah, and I am not really worried about anything for the rest of the run, but I might as well show off the final battle. So at this point, I managed to pick up Nightbane and Bushido, so it's even harder for me to screw up than it was before. The only thing I have to remember is that I shouldn't clear out everything, because if I do, the boss will summon another big wave. So as long as I don't do that, there's basically nothing that can go wrong. So, yep. As you can see, Bushido Nightbane is pretty great against undead armies. Even undead armies with more health. that Ruins card that I picked up at the start of the run really hasn't been hurting me very much. Yep, that's all I have to say about the run. Alright, at this point I need to be a little careful not to kill the boss with a gunshot, because yeah, I need to get him down to 5 health so I can blade him. And we did it. Good job, team. So that's game number 2. Let's move on to game number 3. Oh look, it's Taunting Hop. Oh look, it's Royal Loafers. Oh look, it's Sacred Crown. Yeah, not a particularly interesting run this time, but that's okay. Not every run is gonna be very interesting. I mean, arguably the last one wasn't interesting either until I decided to go for the secret ending. Whatever. Anyway, that's attempt number 3. I'm not actually sure I should have picked Loafers here, because Undead Armies is a huge pain. But here we are. It's going to be hard for us to get cornered. As long as we clear out most of the pawns kind of quickly. Like that's the way the gameplay changes when you have this card. And I shouldn't shoot down knights that are on row 2, but I did anyway, and then I continued to shoot down a bishop, so I don't know. I'm certainly making it more difficult for myself. Hopefully I'll get some firepower. Yeah, at this point, there's a neat little trick you can do if you're trying to specifically get a queen soul at the end of a level, is you have one pawn and you kill it on the second row, or you have one piece and you kill it on the second row, it makes a pawn, and then when the pawn promotes, it'll either promote to a queen or something else, and if it promotes to a queen, then you get the queen soul, and if it promotes to something else, it becomes a pawn when it dies. So yeah, this ended up being, well, this floor and the floor immediately after ended up really being the only interesting floors this game, because I got Taunting Hop on the Homecoming floor, so I'm like, okay, I guess I'll take it, because I am trying to win as much as possible for my statistical sample, whatever. Yep, then at this point, it's just a matter of cleaning up. I mean, not in this case, not even cleaning up, just shooting down the king. So, yep, castle is... Neither of those white cards are very dangerous, and having range is nice. The farther back pieces are when I shoot them, the less annoying the pawns that come out of them are. But yeah, of course the knights made it to me because I don't actually have that much damage. Okay, we're getting a kill on a bishop without making a pawn, so that's cool. That's one thing you can do to prevent pawns. Because, yeah, if I guess the reasoning is that if a piece could summon a pawn when it died on the first rank, then the pawn would immediately promote into another piece. We don't want that kind of infinite loop. But yeah, not too bad. So yeah, this floor is going to be relatively easy to wrap up. I should be focusing the pawn instead of the rook, but it doesn't matter, I guess. when we're down to this few pieces, the prioritization is a big deal. But yeah, as you can see, we're about to get taunting hop, and yeah, the run's gonna be a lot easier now. Got Black Plague though. It's always a fun card to have in this game. Anyway, I'm just gonna call that run number 4. So I'm not very excited about either of these picks. I like one-shotting pieces, and I don't like not being able to one-shot pieces with heavy armor. But I also don't want pawns to move faster. You know, armor makes the pieces move slower, so it's probably okay. And if you think about it in terms of the pawn movement, that's like the pawns are what put pressure on you in this game. And pawns have to move 6 squares to promote. Each move taking 1 extra turn is 6 extra turns worth of time, or whatever, 6 extra turns to work with, which gives me 2 more shots, which is not great, and also scope is kind of useless. But here we don't get a damage upgrade, but we do get secret air, which is pretty much a non-issue. I could have scoped in there if I really wanted to. Anyway, the extra ammo regen is going to help us quite a bit. As long as we don't like overflow our ammo too much. Sometimes it's just going to happen when you're constantly being attacked. So I don't know why I moved in front of the rook like that, but that's okay. As long as the pawns don't promote. Like, I can kind of ignore the pieces to shoot the pawns, and I can still one-shot pawns. The heavy armor gives them an extra health, which lets me barely one-shot them still. I hope I get a firepower upgrade. Spoiler alert, I'm about to get a firepower upgrade. Look at that, +2 firepower. So at this point, I have so much range because I took the elite gem that, yeah, look at that, 4 to 6 range still. So, yeah, I'm not concerned about anything. I can one-shot queens. I can one-shot everything that's not a king or rook. So, yeah, the downside of the heavy armor is pretty much entirely mitigated. So it's just upside, everything's really slow, and I have that extra ammo regen. The Victoria has severe ammo issues, so the ammo regen helps quite a bit. It's not the best ammo mitigating card out there. Well, arguably it is. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's good enough for pretty much any build. So yeah, look at that. More damage. Though Saboteur can be... Saboteur is kind of like -1 damage if I'm not shooting an enemy point blank. So, I don't know, I guess it's just a net increase in accuracy. Because I get more accuracy. I mean, if I'm next to pieces, I don't need the accuracy, but if I'm not next to pieces, I get the accuracy that I want. So, yeah, this build's working out. I think I got through the hardest part of the game. Well, this card choice is very unfortunate. I could lose 2 range, or I could lose Well, I could lose 2 range and a firepower temporarily, or I could have lost 6 turns and 1 firepower permanently. Anyway, yeah, as you can see, there are a whole bunch of pawns. I took Pillage and Ruins, and because I have high firepower and Piercing Truth, I feel pretty confident fighting them. I used to have enough range where my Piercing could be guaranteed to get a lot of value, but, you know, instead I have an extra life, and yeah, look at that, I got my range back, sort of. I got my firepower back, and my accuracy was already good enough. You don't need a lot of accuracy when you're fighting a lot of pawns, because they're, you know, they're just a big group of them. If you miss one, you'll hit another. It's not entirely true when you have healing bishops, because, like, if you spread your damage out too thin, there'll be too much healing. I'm glad those pawns are not promoting to particularly dangerous combinations of pieces. Anyway, this might be the hardest floor in the run. The next floor I have Cornered Despot, which, you know, any firepower boost will go a long way, especially when you're clearing out hordes of pawns. Arguably, I'm not clearing out hordes of pawns because I have, you know, I've only added 9 pawns. Well, I've added 12, but I also removed, I think Saboteur removes 2 pawns. And Entitle removes 1. But yeah, so I've added a lot of pawns though. If you're going to take Ruins and Pillage, that combination is going to be very dangerous, unless you have something that is good against pawns. But yeah, the next floor is just going to be more of the same, but a little easier because I have such a strong card added to my arsenal. But yeah, so that's 5 runs. I've won them all, but I gotta keep going. I'll keep going some other time if you're interested in that. Definitely 5 games is not a statistical sample. I was thinking of doing at least 10 games, probably more than that if I really want to get an idea of my win rate. I might give up on that, but yeah, until then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.